Hi everyone, welcome back. This is another tutorial for the Dismemberment and Bonebreak system. Um, this one I'm going to cover how we can chop up the meshes. Now, as most of us aren't 3D ninjas, myself included, a crash course in Blender is going to be something that we all need. So it's not difficult. So just a couple of little cheeky things. So one of the guys who's worked on the projects got us these little characters. So just pop them into the map. Grab a character out that you've imported into the system. Right click, and then what we want to do is we want to save it as a static mesh. Okay, so I'm just going to store this in the meshes. We call this dev guy. Right, there we go. Amazing. What we now need to do, click, save, right click, and then we'll go to export. Save it as an FBX. I'm just going to save it in the same folder as the project, just for ease of me finding it. Put it on this level. There we go. Export, don't really care about the rest of it because directions don't really matter. Now, don't need this just now. Just going to close that out the road, get rid of the editor. Let's put it aside. Right, so open up Blender. The newer version is much better and much easier to use than the older version. So what we're going to do is if you go to File, Import, FBX. Now locate the file path of where you saved your FBX. And Devil Guy, boom. There we go, that's one ugly dude. So, quick run through. Scroller on the mouse zooms in and out. Up the top right here, drag it from side to side, and you'll rotate. Up and down, you'll rotate this way as well. If you want to move up and down, click on the hand and drag. Okay, so this way we can get a good position, because what we're going to do is we're just going to be cutting directly through the mesh in a line. Now, select the modeling tools. Okay, so for some reason there's a wee bug. You sometimes have to click on sculpting and then back to modeling, but hey ho. So there's our wee dude there. We'll zoom in so we can see him. What we're going to use is if you click on the knife option, hold your mouse button down, and then we go to the bisect. Bisect's what we need. This is going to do a straight line directly through everything. So we need each limb, 3 different parts, and we need a head. So we need a full arm, an upper arm, and a lower arm. Full leg, upper leg, lower leg. Simples. So what we're going to do is you have to select all, and then what we'll do is we'll just draw a line right through the dude. Right, so now let's do it this way. Halfsies. There we go. Bottom left, you're going to see the bisect. Open this up, and if you can choose the inner or outer side to remove. Okay. If you choose the fill, it can sometimes mess with your material. Material gets applied to the inside of the mesh, and yeah, just personally, I just like to avoid that. So at the moment, we'll do left leg. So we just need to go back to the bisect and do another couple of little chops. Again, select all, chop chop. So we're not making watches here, so it doesn't really matter what we do as far as how much of the leg we actually have in here, as long as we have enough to look like something's been chopped off. So I'm happy with that. That looks like a full leg. So just go to save export, FBX, go back to location, and I'll just make a new folder in here. Bits and bobs. Alright. Let's try that again. It's completely exited out of that. Bits and bobs. Right, so what we're going to call this one is LL for left leg full. Okay. Get a naming convention, stick to it, because if you don't, when you start to import loads of meshes, it's just going to become really painful. So now the good bit is we just go scooch across here, and I'll just go outer, and we'll call this upper leg. Left leg upper. And if you're careful when you click there, you may actually still be able to flick back to outer and then just export from here as well. And this is lower. Export FBX. Now Control Z, boop that a couple of times, and yeah, we're back to the start. So let's do that again. Chop chop. All, chop chop. Pop that there. Inner, outer. Doesn't really matter which way you go as long as you chop the bits off. Outer. In case you've not noticed, the direction the arrow is going is inner. The opposite direction of this arrow is outer. So we want the outer one to be kept on this one. So again, we can just go to export, FBX, right leg, full. If you can't be bothered doing all of these and you just want to get it up and going, so you've got bits and pieces to blow off your character, just do one side. Blood flying about, bodies falling everywhere, nobody's going to notice if it's a left or a right hand. And if you do, you're not paying enough attention to the game. You just need more explosions. So let's pick one of them. So this is left, right leg upper. I'll just do the same on the lower. No, don't import, export. Alright, scooch back. And now let's get the back to the bisect tool. Let's just do the head for a change. That's a good bit there. Let's have a wee look around to check we're not actually clipping any of the other mesh. If you've got clothes and stuff, it's probably a good idea to check that you're not taking a part of a collar out or something, because that's going to look stupid. Yep, just the heat. And we'll export to FBX. Arms. Okay, so let's just select all, chop. We've got a wee bit there. Alright, so let's take that off. There we go. Sweet. So now we have full export full arm. This right arm. So right arm full. Somewhere about there, and we'll just pick that out, and that's upper. And then we'll just change to the lower. We've only got two more to do. Now, okay, and let's undo. And then we'll just go and finish off the other side. Left arm this time, isn't it? So left arm full. Just 2 more to go. Scissors, left arm upper. And then left arm lower. I'm just going to be very lazy and just drag it into the same folder as the materials are. That means we're just going to pick them up and there's no real jiggery pokery needed afterwards. So let's see. Local, create new materials. Nope, nope, missed it. Where is it gone? Materials. So don't create materials. Import textures. And local import. And yep, we've got everything seems to be the right way around. So what we'll do is we'll just move all of these to the meshes folder. Excellent. So as it stands, we want to just update the character. So for easiness, we'll update the default human setting inside the data table, so amputated meshes. It went off screen. Right, so what we're going to do is we'll just navigate to the folder for meshes, and it's going to be easier if we just click and update. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to change this to a different view, view options, and we'll change this to columns. This just keeps things nice and easy. So head. Oh, what have I done? There we go. So for the head, select, change. Now here we have upper arm and lower arm, so full and upper. And next one we'll just have lower. Now you can add new records in here for different character classes, but I'm just going to keep it with the human one just now, just for ease. This is right arm, isn't it? Right arm upper, right arm full, upper, then lower, left leg upper, left leg full, upper, and lower. And then right leg full, again upper, and then the next column down is lower. So if that's worked, whenever I shoot a character, the mesh is going to be spawning with the demon spawn, with the devil's little skins. So let's have a look. That's the wrong one. That's the right one. Yep, so there we go. We've got some devil's meshes spawning just now. Not in the right place because the pivot point's incorrect, but that's how you update the data table. It's that simple. So let's look at plugins. If we go here and look for mesh. So editable mesh with the restaurant modeling, editor tools. So let's try the experimental features. And let's just restart the restart your application. Now, then you come back up, modes, head to modeling. Okay, so what we're going to do is now we've got the modes up and we're into modeling. What you need to do is select transform, this tab here, and the feature we're looking for is edit pivot. So all we'll do is we'll just drag one of these bad boys in here. See the pivot points down here, arms up here. That's no good for spawning. Edit pivot, ensure that you're saving in current location and autosave is enabled. And what I'll just do is I'll just press top, and that should just get us roughly to the right place. Zoom in a wee tad, and just hit left. Let's bring this up. Where are we at? Okay, perfect. So I'm happy enough with that. That looks roughly about the right place. So let's just accept. And so yeah, pivot point's actually in a really good place there. I'm very happy with that. Now you'll see down the bottom here, um, fill's being completed. So we'll just do that. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't press delete on the thingy. So we have to sadly go through each of these and do this. I know it's a pain in the bum, but it has to be done for good looking broken body bits. So let's bring that down. That looks close enough. Again, we're not making watches, but you just want the pivot to be slightly further out than the joint, just so there's no weird clippings going on there. Happy with that. Next one. Pivot point again. So you want to sort of keep it roughly with where you'd expect the bone that's going to connect onto the severed part is going to be. I agree with that. Left leg. So yeah, that's not the good place there. Edit pivot, top, center, top. For all intents and purposes, that's pretty much it. On the leg. Oh, oops. Delete the level. It's a problem with working in a map. It does open you up for some issues of deleting large chunks of your map. So yep, that seems pretty good there. Try to get that back a bit. Accept. So hopefully you'll get the point of what we're doing. You can skip on, but for the sake of it, I'll just continue on for each of the body parts, just so you can see where we'd suggest putting these things for each of them if you wish to continue on with this. But I know this is pretty dry stuff, and you all probably want to do something a lot more fun. So yep, that seems fine there. So accept. Edit pivot. Right. And that'll do. Accept. So once we've gone through all of these, we'll try the dismembering of the body parts again, but this time we'll actually see the body parts dismembering and spawning from the correct places on the body, and it should give a much better feel as to what we're trying to achieve, instead of random 1990 let's accidentally spawn something in a weird place, because we can feel. Okay, accept. And finally, the last one. The nice thing about having these tools inside the engine now is the fact that you don't need to really learn too much another 3D piece of software to be able to achieve simple, well, things that should be simple. So as you can see, each of these has a collision assigned to them. So we've reallocated the pivot point. So we're at 0, 0, 0, where we need to be the point of spawn. If we hit collision, simple collision, this is what we've got. Look at that. It's completely the wrong place. So click on the collision, up to collision, and then delete, and then 18 DOP. Save. That's it. Do this for the next one. Now just plow through all of these, just removing the nonsense. Because what will happen here is we have the pivot point here and we have the collision mesh, so it's going to look like this hits and we're going to have this arm swinging around in a big circle in some random way. It's going to look terrible. So okay, and at no time should you see two. If you see two as a collision prisms, then we've got a problem. If we look here, don't know what's going on. Okay, that's fine. So let's just do head. Make sure head's all good. Simple collisions. Yeah, just blow head off. And I think we've done the right leg as well, so let's do that. Perfect. That's what we want to see. So right leg. Any, many, many more. Let's go this one. Oh, come on. There we go. See, that's more what we want to see there. That's perfect. Don't worry about that. That's an example from earlier on when I was playing about. Okay, so again, thanks very much for watching this video. Hit subscribe and hope to see you in the next time. Okay, cheerio.